Hello everyone, and welcome to my Duel Today official news channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Nicole's baptism reception takes a crazy turn after the party ends in disaster. According to teasers for Days of Our Lives, Jude Brady's baptismal celebration will undoubtedly result in a disaster. Eric Brady informed Nicole DiMera and Holly Jonas that the reception would take place at the pub in the episode that aired on March 7th. Nicole, however, asked that she be allowed to host the celebration in the DiMera home instead of Eric and Sloane Peterson Brady, played temporarily by Natasha Hall. Eric was reluctant at first, but after some persuasion he agreed and later brought up the venue change to an anxious Sloane. Jude's baptism must have a purpose, else why is it taking place at the DiMera estate rather than the bar? This clearly hints at a Day's plot point, therefore we need to think about the kind of DOL drama this might be leading up to. When the strike material was produced, Day's scab writers were essentially told to draw things out, so it should take some time before Sloane's stolen baby secret comes to light. Having saying that, Sloane might encounter other challenges and surprises during their journey. Since Day seemed to have overheard more at Small Bar last month than Sloane and Melinda Trask had suspected, what if Days offers a party crasher like Connie Viniski? Melinda and Sloane may have a fire to put out if Connie shows up and attempts to stir things up. If Nicole sees the shady pair attempting to manage Connie, she can get perplexed and suspicious. Since his remorse about keeping his tongue shut is beginning to wear thin, even Leo Stark might become a problem. The stronger Leo's bond with Jude, the less comfortable he is with keeping the young man away from his birth mother. Leo may even confront Nicole and assert that she was correct regarding Jude's paternity. Leo may imply that Nicole has been tricked before Sloane steps in, prompting Nicole to question whether he is correct or if Leo is just stirring things up once more. In any case, Eric might insist that Leo attend the celebration, given how well he performed his babysitting duties. It might be the beginning of some Leo mayhem in the not-too-distant future. If Nicole and Sloane argue once more, a classic catfight may be another disastrous party idea. Days of Our Lives spoilers hint that Nicole's party will undoubtedly have some breathtaking moments, so be sure to check back for updates on any exciting developments that may be in the works. Goldman and Clyde Days of Our Lives spoilers for Friday, March 8 indicate that Steve Johnson and John Black checked in with Ava Vitale at the airfield, where they confirmed they were prepared for the next part of their plan. Escape as lovers, Ava goes rogue. During Friday's Days episodes in Statesville, two guards purposefully spilled barrels of ammonia and bleach, causing a chemical reaction. Clyde Weston grinned in his cell as he waited for rescue assistance since there were alarms and flashing lights. Soon later, protective suits appeared on Steve and John. They gave one to Clyde and escorted him to the airfield. It was there that Ava and the two of her guards grabbed guns. Steve and John were led off-site by those guards after Ava declared that they would be following her instructions. When Ava and Clyde were alone, he expressed gratitude for her assistance in preventing John and Steve from betraying him. However, Clyde didn't really trust Ava either, so soon he was in the air and the plane was airborne, he promised to provide Trip Johnson's location. Ava wanted to know where Trip was at that very moment, so that didn't work for her. Officer Goldman ambushed Ava and took control of the scene when Ava threatened to shoot Clyde in the groin. When Goldman next put Ava under arrest with a revolver, she declared that she preferred Clyde's man parts exactly as they were. As soon as it was apparent that Clyde and Ava were dating, Goldman made sure she was bound and made out with him. Clyde had intended to leave Salem with Goldman, believing that the plane's pilot was employed by Ava. Ava was devastated and incensed when Goldman instructed her not to bother looking for Trip because she had already confirmed his death. On Friday's episode of Days, Steve and John were able to sneak away from their guards at the park. Wendy Shin was concerned that there might not be enough air in the tank, but Trip acknowledged that carbon monoxide was a greater threat. Trip advised Wendy to breathe slowly and deeply while they engaged in a meaningful discourse about God, the afterlife, and their parents' impending bereavement. Wendy acknowledged that she had thought she would one day marry and start a family, but that she now felt as though she would never get the chance. They shared some tender vows and a kiss after Tripp declared he would marry Wendy right then and there. Wendy asked Tripp if he would marry her in person when they were free, as they started to feel weak and sleepy. Tripp promised to do so, but at that moment, neither of them appeared to be paying any attention to what they were saying. Paulina was in the hospital on Friday's DOL episode, and she wasn't feeling well at all. Abe Carver sobbed because he didn't want to lose Paulina and wouldn't leave her side. But Paulina persuaded Abe to swear he would look after her girls in case she didn't make it, and he did exactly that, taking care of Lonnie Grant, Chanel DiMera, their husbands, and the twins. In the waiting room, Chanel and Lonnie shared their regrets and anxieties after expressing their support for Paulina. Chanel was reassured by Lonnie that they would support one another and overcome this even if Paulina was lost. On Friday's episode of Days, Paulina started to feel fatigued once more, and Abe said he would understand if she didn't want to continue fighting. Although Abe was obviously devastated by the prospect, he felt that since that was what Paulina would want, they would all learn to get along without her. When Paulina finally opened her eyes, she saw that an angel was circling her and that white light was all around her. She motioned to Abe to look at the person standing there as well. According to spoilers for Days of Our Lives, Paulina and Abe are in for some surprising moments, so stay in for updates on some startling hospital news. Lonnie read information about the National Organ Transplant waiting list while Paulina and Abe listened. "It's time for Paulina to quit reading," Lonnie suggested. Paulina would not be alone, Abe and Lonnie vowed. Marlena walked into the hospital room at that moment. Paulina told Marlena they needed time to discuss by themselves. Paulina said she felt afraid after Lonnie and Abe excused themselves. Paulina revealed that she did not feel like the powerful fighter that everyone had described her, and Marlena listened. She was terrified to leave behind her loved ones, her career, her friends, and her family. Paulina still had a long life ahead of her, Marlena thought, and she emphasized that people who had heart transplants had been surviving longer. Paulina was further reassured by Marlena that it was okay to feel afraid and that it was possible to be both powerful and afraid at the same time. She assured Paulina that her friends and family were there for her, waiting to console her should she lower her defenses. Paulina said she didn't think she could stay strong when she wasn't feeling well. She was also concerned about the recipient of the heart donation. Marlena emphasized that the person who made such a kind, enormous gesture was not under duress, rather, they were granting a request and enabling a piece of their legacy to endure beyond death. Paulina took time to thank Marlena for her consoling remarks. She claimed to have more peace of mind and to know what to do. Paulina was reminded by Marlena that they were all in this together before she left.